Good afternoon. We are live and the countdown is done. This is buyer's contingencies when you're a home seller selling your home in Chandler, Oklahoma. Now, folks, remember all of my home seller videos, unless it's like value videos, they can be applied across the board. Whether you're in Chandler, Oklahoma, Edmond, Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Stillwater, Oklahoma, Shawnee, Oklahoma. These contingencies, you as a seller can pay attention to no matter where your home is in Oklahoma if they're using the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission contract, of course. So today's video, buyer contingencies that Chandler, Oklahoma home sellers should absolutely be aware of. So if you're getting ready to sell your home in Chandler, Oklahoma, or anywhere in Oklahoma, this is a video you're going to want to watch while you're doing your research, learning the steps, the processes of selling your home. Now, I meant to already have the OREC contract picked up right here, but I will adjust my screen and make that happen as we go through the video. So let's get into the thank you and who I am and what the video is about. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. My name is Josh Barnett, real estate agent with eXp Realty. The group of agents that I work with, the eXp Realty and we are here to earn your business. So if you're selling your home, selling your land in Oklahoma, in the Oklahoma City metro area, Stillwater metro area, Shawnee metro area, anywhere in central Oklahoma, give us a call, shoot me a text, send us an email. We want to earn your business when you're making that sell. And if you've already got some opinions on your property, never hurts to get another one. Don't hesitate to reach out. If you want to book a call, link below for the Zoom call or the Google Meet. We can do a video call. I can show you the stats right online. Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Now, let's get in today's video. Buyer contingencies that Chandler, Oklahoma home sellers should absolutely be aware of when selling their home. All right, that was for my editor because he goes back and fixes these videos for me. This one is live everywhere, so that's good. Let me do an audio check. Ha! The audio is working. Now if I could just get the video to stop playing. Okay, video stopped playing. Okay, so let me get into the first one. Oh, I'm trying to shut this off. There, I got it shut off. So let's roll over to the Oklahoma Real Estate Purchase Contract, and we're looking at this through the eyes of a seller. Keep that in mind. So, yep, that is working. Oh, because I'm doing the live, I need to share my screen. 1 second, let me get this set up. Perfect. All right, that looks good. This is the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission website. If you have any real estate questions whatsoever, this website will provide a value of information that is unheard of anywhere on this website. So let's go down here and let's go over to the contract forms. Contract forms, right? You're going to go into a contract, and these contingencies are what are on the contract. These are ones you want to be aware of. So we'll do residential sell. We'll go to the residential sell, and we'll scroll down, and here is the first one. So if you're selling your home, and the first contingency you need to be aware of as a home seller is right here. Earnest money shall be deposited in the trust account of blank or the listing brokerage trust account as partial payment, the purchase cost or closing cost. And then right here, if the buyer fails to deliver the earnest money within the time required, seller may terminate this contract or use seller's remedy under paragraph 16 or both by providing notice to the buyer before the buyer delivers the earnest money. So they have 3 days. 3 days to get that earnest money in. If they don't get that earnest money in, oh yeah, everything that I tell you today does not create a broker relationship. We have to have a signed listing brokerage agreement to create a brokerage relationship. This is just a FYI, verify all information type video for home sellers in the Oklahoma metro area and the state of Oklahoma. eXp Realty, we have agents all over the state. Don't hesitate to reach out. No matter where you live in Oklahoma, we want to help you. If the buyer, so if you went under contract with the buyer, and then as a seller, and then they don't turn in the earnest money within 3 days, this document says within 3 days, the earnest money shall be deposited within blank trust account. And then this sentence says, and I'm not doing law. I'm reading a document to you. I'm not doing law. I'm reading a document to you. This sentence right here says, if the buyer fails to deliver the earnest money within the required time, the seller may terminate the contract or exercise the seller's remedies under paragraph 16 or both by providing notice to the buyer before the buyer delivers the earnest money. So that's the first contingency you want to pay attention to as a seller that's in the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission contract of sale. So right here, it's this Real Estate Commission contract of sale. And of course, this is a legally binding contract. If not understood, seek the advice of an attorney. Okay? They put that on the top of every single page. See, that's page 1. Okay, they put it on the top of page 1. Okay, the second contingency. So we took care of the earnest money right there. So we're just going to go over here and we're going to do this whole strike through thing. Is the inspections. That's a big one. So you scroll down right here to clause 7, investigations, inspections, and reviews. And this is a really important clause. And there's been court cases over this. So definitely talk with your attorney about it if any of it seems kind of iffy or if you get in a situation where you need to get an attorney. But right here, the buyer shall have blank days, 10 if left blank, after the time reference date to complete any investigation, inspections, or reviews. Seller shall have on the water, gas, electricity turned on serving the property for the buyer's inspections, investigation, reviews, and through the date of possession of closing, whichever occurs first. If recorded by ordinance, seller or seller's broker, if applicable, shall deliver to the buyer, care of the buyer's broker, if applicable, within 5 days after time reference date of any notices affecting the property. So if like the city comes in and says, hey, I'm going to take like the front 50 feet of the property to widen this road, the seller's got to give that to the buyer real quick. So, but that's not what we're going over right here. So the contingency on inspections is right here. Right here, clause 7 Charlie 2 Alpha and Bravo. These are the two contingencies. If in the sole opinion of the buyer, the results of the investigation, inspection, reviews are unsatisfactory, the buyer may cancel the contract by delivering written notice of cancellation to the seller in care of the seller's broker, if applicable, and receive the earnest money back. As a seller, that's something you got to pay attention to. That's something you got to keep in mind. So if you take your house off the market as a seller and you're expecting to get that earnest money back, this clause right here says you don't if the buyer cancels based on inspections. Okay? That's something to keep in mind. Now let's say the buyer wants to buy the property, but they want you to fix a couple things. Well, right here, 7 Charlie 2 Bravo Indigo, right here, if they give you a list as a seller to fix some things, 1 second. Oh, had a nose fuzz. I don't like nose fuzzes. 7 Charlie 2 Bravo Indigo. You have 7 days to reach an agreement if the buyer gives you a piece of paper that says, this is what I want you to fix. If you guys don't reach an agreement, look at this right here. The contract shall terminate and the earnest money shall be returned to the buyer. Right now, if you're a seller watching this video, you're wondering, why does the buyer get their earnest money back in so many instances? The Real Estate Commission is looking out for the consumer. The consumer. The Real Estate Commission built these contracts to protect the buyers. As a seller of a property, you're not the consumer. The buyer is. So the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission contracts are buyer helpful? Is that a term? Put in the comments. If you're watching this and you know what the comments are, hey, Young Breeze, can't wait to see you. Yes, that's going to be so awesome. Yes, cannot wait. We can't wait for you to move out here. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for the shout out. So as a seller, you got to pay attention to this. You got to know this because you got to get through inspections. If they turn in TRR and there's some items on there that you as a seller don't want to fix and you guys can't reach an agreement, the buyer can walk away. So as a seller, you want to pay attention to that. Now, in the seller's market that we're in today, buyers aren't really asking for repairs. They're not. Germonte, yes. Are you doing? Yes, sir. I hope this helps. Yes, sir. Something to pay attention to on the inspections. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So this is stuff for a seller and buyer's perspective. Stuff for a buyer and seller's perspective. So now here we go. Inspections. We took care of that contingency. Let me get a sip of water, please. Man, my throat's dry. The weather is so cold out. If you're in Oklahoma today, be careful. Drip your faucets. Make sure your outdoor pets are in. It is going to get cold tonight. Be careful. So let me get this taken off real quick. Okay, title work. Now, this is something that people never even read. Can you believe that? People don't read these contracts. This is the biggest purchase that you're going to make as a buyer. This is the biggest purchase. This is the biggest transaction you're going to make as a seller typically when you're selling these things. The title work contingency. Look at this. Let me scroll down. Right here. Title evidence, clause 10. Right here, clause 10 delta. Buyer shall have 10 days after receipt of the title evidence and delivered to the buyer's title objections to the title to the seller or seller's broker if applicable. So you get that title report, you look at it, there's something you don't like on it, you object. You object. If applicable, in the event the title evidence is not made available to the buyer within 10 days prior to the closing date, said closing date shall be extended to give that buyer 10 days from the receipt to examine the title evidence. So that's why title companies, it's real important to get that title report out quickly, and abstractors are all booked up right now because as a seller, you need that buyer to look at the title report and make sure they accept the title. And then clause 2, delta 2, clause 10 delta 2 says that the buyer agrees to accept the title subject to, and then it lists off things like utility easements, building and use restrictions of record, setback and building lines, zoning regulations, reserved and severed mineral rights, which shall not be considered objections to marketable title. Now, as a seller, those are good for you because the buyer still verify with the attorney, but the buyer still has to buy the house subject to those items, is what that clause says. But I'm not an attorney, so I'm not able to give you legal advice, but someone reading that as a real estate agent like me, that's what it says. So all I can say as a real estate agent is go verify with an attorney, because that's we're not attorneys. We don't practice law. So if the buyer gives the seller something that they want cleared, the seller has 30 days upon receipt of that to get that cleared. Right here, see the blank? Well, they could get it fixed right away, but if closing has to get pushed back because of something that comes up on that title report, they have 30 days to fix it. So that's the third one. Is that the third one? Yes, that's the third one that sellers need to pay attention to, is you've got to have clear title for that buyer to buy the property. Now, where is the sentence? There's got to be a sentence saying if the title's not good. Yep, right here. The buyer may cancel the contract and receive earnest money back. If the title isn't good, you've been through inspections, you've been through appraisals, you've been through all this other stuff. You as a seller packed up your home, and then all of a sudden the title work comes in, the buyer doesn't want to buy it because it's something on the title work that you as a seller can't cure in a timely manner. The real estate commission made this contract for the buyer. You got to pay attention as a seller, because if something comes up, you don't get it fixed. All that work, all that stuff that was put into that particular transaction, the buyer gets the earnest money back. The buyer gets the earnest money back. Now, of course, can attorneys draft counter clauses for you that null and void these clauses? By all means, yes. Yes. And the Real Estate Commission has a list of standardized clauses right here. The Real Estate Commission has a list of standardized clauses that negate a lot of these clauses already. And your real estate agent, like me, if you hire me, but this video doesn't create a broker relationship. You have to hire me in writing and my team. But that's not the one. Hold on. We could use this form right here, standard clauses form right here, to copy and paste these clauses that negate some of these items that we're talking about. So there are options out there for sellers to protect themselves more, especially in a hot seller's market like this, to not lose the earnest money, recoup that earnest money for time wasted off market, and go back and get a new buyer. So there are ways to get around it, and that's why you got to reach out to me, call, text, or email me. The group of agents that I work with at eXp Realty and we do want to earn your business. So especially when you're going to sell your home or land. Let me go over here and get this stricken. Financing contingencies. Oh man, these are going by the wayside. in this market, most definitely. So you've got all your different loan types of financing contingencies, and as a seller, you definitely want to pay attention to that. Let me get over here real quick. Where is a conventional loan? Right here, conventional loan financing addendum. Look at this. This is how consumer-driven, consumer-centered the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission is, which is good for consumers, but as a seller, these are things you want to pay attention to and know what's in the contract. So right here, Clause 1 of the conventional loan addendum, if the buyer is unable to secure financing and provides written notice to the seller's brokable, if applicable, within the time period provided in the closing funding possession paragraph of the contract, the earnest money shall be refunded to the buyer subject to the appropriate written authorization from all parties. Let me show you what that's talking about. This is the contract. Clause 3 is the closing possession and funding clause. Right here. Clause 3, closing funding and possession. Oklahoma is a closing and funding state. Oklahoma is a funding and possession state. There's no comma there. There's no comma here. So those two things happen at the same time. You close, give the check to the seller, you get the keys. You get the keys. That's the way the Real Estate Commission made the contract. Verify everything with attorney. I have to say that in my real estate courses, they tell you have to say that all the time. Never given legal advice. So right here, this conventional loan addendum says time period provided the closing funding possession paragraph. The only date that is on that paragraph, the only time period that's put in that paragraph is the day of closing. So up until closing, buyers can get their earnest money back if there's not a clause protecting the seller in the event that financing falls out the day before closing. Yeah, that's the way the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission has written this contract. And the people on that Oklahoma Real Estate Commission contract committees, they're smart. There's attorneys on that committee that are real estate agents. There's attorneys on that committee that are contract law attorneys through the Bar Association. The people on these contracts take their job seriously, and the position and the reason for the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission is to protect the consumer. So as a seller, you want to pay attention to that. You want to know what is going on. You want to know where the outs are on that buyer so you can strategically respond to any offers that you get. So the financing contingency is another way that buyers can get their earnest money back. So when you're selling your home in Chandler, Oklahoma, or your land in Chandler, Oklahoma, you want to pay attention to that. And then another contingency that people don't think about is anything written on the blank clause. What? There's a blank clause? Yeah, there is. And you got to pay attention to it because sometimes stuff that's already in this contract, because attorneys wrote this contract. It went through a rigorous approval process through the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission's Contracts and Forms Committee, and then the commissioners voted to approve it. So really, really deep in the business, know what they're talking about. Brokers and attorneys put these contracts together. So everything is pretty much covered in these contracts. But every now and then on Clause 13, you'll see things like, excuse me, I gotta get another drink of water. This talking is rough. 1 second. That's one of the detriments of live videos. You see how many times I have to drink water. So Clause 13, additional provisions. Sometimes you'll see things like contract contingent upon inspections. Well, that's covered by Clause 10. Or you'll see things like contract contingent upon financing. The Real Estate Commission has like 5 different financing clauses to protect the buyer. And then for some reason on Clause 13, they write this one little sentence. The financing contingency you just saw was a page long. The inspection contingency is like 8 clauses long. It's like a whole page long. Look at this. Look at this right here. There's Clause 7. We're about halfway down. It goes all the way to the bottom of the next page. It's like a page and a half long of inspection contingencies, very specific words, very specific timelines put in there. And then You might get a contract that says contingent upon inspections. Really? Why don't we just use clause 7? Beats me. But as a seller, you got to pay attention to this stuff. You have to, okay? As always, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. That's it on the contingencies you got to pay attention to. The earnest money deposit, the inspections, the title work, the financing, and then anything written on the blank clause. One second. I'm sorry I just gurgled, but my throat is killing me. I love making these videos for you guys, and I love earning your business. The group of agents at eXp Realty and I, that's what we're here to do. If you're selling your home, selling your land in Oklahoma City, Chandler, Shawnee, Stillwater, anywhere in the metro, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, book a Zoom below. There's links to book a Google Meet or a Zoom call, whatever you prefer. We want to help you out. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow the Facebook page. I should have got more water. And I'm sorry you heard that so loud. I'm wearing a mic. I'm so sorry. I should have got more water. I'll see you guys on the next video. Don't forget to click on one of these cool videos that are popping up somewhere on the screen right here so you continue to enjoy all this knowledge that we bring to the table. I'll see you guys on the next clip. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, Jamonte. Thank you so much, sir. I'll see you guys soon.